Have you ever called the numbers left in toilet stalls? Tell your story. Subscribe to the channel, like it, and leave a comment. This will greatly help the development of the channel. Thank you. Among my acquaintances was a guy who irritated me to no end. I made a bunch of ads saying, mentally challenged will do any housework for free, added this guy's phone number, and posted them in the toilets of local supermarkets for about 5 years. He constantly complained about calls from strangers who talked to him like he was an idiot and offered to clean their yard for free. I never confessed to him. On my way home from the bus station, I called an unknown number. It turned out to be a pizzeria. I thought, why not, and ordered a pizza. Proof that advertising works regardless of where the ads are posted. I never called, but once I answered a call from an unknown number. They called about an ad for a long, heartfelt conversation followed by rough phone sex with my phone number. The ad was hanging in a toilet stall in one of the diners. I definitely didn't leave it, and I have no idea who could have done it. In a phone booth, I found a business card with a mysterious inscription, "If you don't call, you'll never know," and a phone number. Since I had some money left on my phone card, I called, and now I know. It was a pseudo-religious cult whose followers tried to recruit people for seminars at their ranch somewhere in New Mexico, promising to find them a new spiritual family. No thanks. The last thing I need now is a family environment. I dialed a number left in the toilet at my college, which promised me a free blowjob. I knew it was a scam and thought it was a police station number, but curiosity got the better of me. I didn't get a free blowjob, but I reached a marketing company. Phew. I saw a number scratched on a table in a bar with a note saying something like, "Call Mike. He's very angry." So I sent Mike a message asking him to be kinder, and in response, I got a message, "Who the hell are you?" He sent me angry messages for several more days. Mike is indeed very angry. I was at a restaurant collecting money for charity. You leave $1 over the bill, and they put a note with your name on it for everyone to see on a symbolic honor board. While waiting for a friend in the restaurant lobby, I was studying the notes with the names of people who donated money and saw that next to one girl's name was a phone number with a note saying, "Call me." I thought, what the heck, why not, and dialed the number. The girl confirmed that it was indeed her name, but she had no idea why I was calling. I explained that I was in the restaurant lobby, and her name was on the wall with her phone number, but she didn't believe me, despite all my attempts to convince her. Eventually, she asked me to step out of the restaurant. I stepped out, and she said, "Holy crap, you're really there." Meanwhile, I was standing in the parking lot, looking around, but I didn't see anyone. Maybe she saw me from a window. The girl asked me to tear down the note with her number, and thanked me. Apparently, one of her colleagues had left it and informed her about it, but she didn't believe him. They worked nearby and often had lunch there. When I was in middle school, I found a phone number scratched on the back seat of the bus I used to take from home to school. I wrote, "Who is this? Your number is on the back seat of the bus?" They replied, "Greg." A week later, I told my classmate about it because his name was also Greg. Guess what he did? Right, he handed me his phone where my message was displayed. About 10 years ago, someone wrote on the sidewalk, "Call this number and have a good time." I saved this number just in case and recorded it as, "I wanted to call many times, but never did." The other day, I was hanging out on Snapchat and saw that appeared in my suggested friends. It turned out to be a girl. I sent her a request, and she added me as a friend. Damn, I have no idea how to start a conversation so that she doesn't think I'm an idiot, but I really want to tell her how I got her number. I found an ad in a toilet stall in a bar. If something good happened to you, or if you're feeling really crappy, if you need to blow off steam or need help getting out of a binge, when you just need a friend to talk about anything, call XXX 4X. At the time, I was going through a really crappy period in my life, so I dialed the number and told a complete stranger girl about all my pent-up problems. We both cried and talked for several hours. I knew a guy who called a number written on a $5 bill. A girl with a very pleasant voice answered. They had a nice chat, and my friend decided to ask her out. He played guitar in a popular local band in one of the nightclubs. There was a good restaurant next to the club where they agreed to meet before the concert. My friend thought they would have dinner, and then he would surprise her with his playing. He was really a great guitarist. On the day of the meeting, the guy walked into the restaurant and started looking for a girl in a pink dress. There was only one girl in a pink dress, and she was just a fat freak. So he slipped out of the restaurant before she could notice him. Later, during the performance at the club, he saw the crowd part, and the girl in the pink dress made her way to the front row and didn't take her eyes off him throughout the concert. Afterward, she approached him and started shouting that he was a jerk and acted like an asshole. He felt a little guilty, but said he would have felt even worse if he had dinner with her and then dumped her. After this incident, he never called numbers on bills again and advised everyone against doing so. Not in a toilet stall, but someone once wrote one of my friend's numbers on a classroom chair. A girl called him, they chatted, and soon they started dating. In the end, the guy who was in love with her beat my friend badly, and that's how he lost his first girlfriend. When we were teenagers, my friend and I were walking in the park and went into one of the phone booths to make a call. I don't remember to whom. There was a number scratched on the wall in the phone booth, and above it, the word sex. It had to be a toll-free number because it started with 1 to 800, and we, like two curious girls, decided to call. A sultry female voice on the recording answered, "Wanna have fun?" "Yes." Then there was female giggling, and the operator asked for a bank card number to continue the conversation. We got scared, hung up, and ran away. We were terrified that somehow they would find out it was us on the other end, tell our parents, or, even worse, withdraw money from their bank cards. Children's logic. Now, I am an adult woman, and that was the riskiest prank of my childhood, and probably of my whole life, unfortunately. At a bus stop, I saw an ad that said, "If you're in deep shit, call this number." I called because there was still half an hour before my bus arrived. I ended up at a small private taxi company, so I asked them to come and pick me up. The driver saved me 25 minutes and turned out to be a great guy, so I left him a good tip. I was playing Jenga at a local bar with friends, and all the blocks had phone numbers written on them, so we made a rule. You pull out a block, you send a text to the number on it. The first person I texted sent me a picture with a bunch of coffee beans, and the caption, "Find Kanye." I found a tiny Kanye West face on one of the coffee beans in the lower left corner. I never called. In the toilet of one of the English pubs in Tokyo, all the walls were scratched with various inscriptions. Mostly, everything was as usual. West Ham rules, Sarah's a bitch, and so on. But among all the inscriptions, I found an unusual one. Does anyone want to join our baseball team? We meet every Sunday at 11 a.m. and a phone number. Someone must have thought it was a real bulletin board. Good luck to you. An elderly woman answered, offering to make me the best omelet in town. I asked her how much it cost, and she said, $5. I asked her if the omelet had onions or tomatoes, and she called me an idiot. Omelet with bacon. It's not the season for vegetables, idiot, she said. By the way, I still got my blowjob. I often called such numbers and informed their owners about the circumstances under which I got their numbers. They always asked what was written next to the number. I would say, "Are you sure you want to know?" and tell them the details. Mostly, they would huff in irritation, some cursed, or just stayed in shock. They always asked me to erase the inscription, but I told them I didn't have a pen or eraser. Once I found my sister's number and couldn't stop laughing. A flyer was posted on the bulletin board in a coffee shop, offering to try out for the role of Chewbacca, that big furry guy from Star Wars. You had to call a number and leave a message in Chewbacca's voice. The flyer stated that the author of the best improvisation would win $25. I immediately realized it was a scam, called the number, and informed the owner that someone was trolling him. The guy thanked me because he couldn't understand why his voicemail was filled with growls from some idiots. I always found random ads like that. My best experience was with one handsome guy with whom we regularly had great sex and rode bikes on weekends. The worst experience was with a fat nerd who in real life turned out to be nothing like he described himself. He really had a huge beer belly, like he was 10 months pregnant. I think he could barely see his member in the mirror, let alone get it in someone. He kept pestering me for a second meeting, and out of pity, I agreed, but he suddenly announced that he wanted to do it without a condom because he was a virgin and wanted to feel the full thrill of sex for his first time. I was shocked. Dude, seriously? Your number is written on the wall in a mall bathroom and you think I'll believe you're a virgin? I told him to get lost. He got offended by my nasty insinuations, told me to go to hell and never call him again, and to go back to my homeland to herd goats. I said we don't have goats in Toronto because it's too cold for them, and I had enough interaction with goats here. He turned green with anger. Those were fun times. A piece of paper said that if you have problems in life, call this number. It was about 10 years ago. I was a 13-year-old teenager, and I called. We never met, but he had a very pleasant voice, and we talked for about an hour. He gave me some great advice. He said that this world can be very harsh on gay people, but you need to accept yourself as you are, and that good things awaited me in the future. After that, we never communicated again. How I wish I could meet this guy for just a minute and thank him. Thank you, Mr. Target. That's what he wanted to be called. When I was a teenager, someone wrote, "For a good time," and my number on the playground. I got calls several times a week, with people giggling and hanging up. Eventually, I got fed up and decided to erase my number. The cops caught me and wanted to fine me for property damage. I had to explain for a long time that I didn't mean any harm and that I was just erasing my number. I have a funny story. Several years ago, Paris Hilton's phone got hacked and all her contacts went public. At that time, a teenager, around 15 to 16 years old, was making a website for me. A few hours before Paris's numbers went public, he wrote to me, "Guess what? My friend just hacked Paris Hilton." I asked him not to talk nonsense, but he sent me a list of about 150 celebrities with their phone numbers. The first familiar name on the list was Fred Durst. I still couldn't believe it was true and decided to dial the number. "Hello, is this Fred Durst?" I asked. "Yes, who is this?" I was stunned. Overcoming the shock, I explained the situation and how I got his number. He said he would have to ditch the SIM card and thanked me for the warning. After that, I waited a few hours, picked a number at random, and called again. That was a mistake. Some woman was hysterically yelling at me, calling me a scumbag, saying my number was traced, and the FSB was already on their way, and she hoped I would die soon. At that moment, I realized the list had been leaked online. I don't like Limp Bizkit's music, but Fred Durst seemed like a cool guy, and I like to think my call helped prevent a lot of crap that could have happened to him after his number got leaked. Teenagers often do stupid stuff. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and watch other videos. We create new content every day for you.